Hi everyone, welcome to a new video. Thanks for joining me today. So today I have another real-time video for you. I'm really into the real-time videos at the moment, and I drew this hedgehog with pastel pencils on pastel mats, and this tutorial was made for the Patreon students for the $4 tier. So if you're interested in following along with the whole image from start to finish, including the background, have a look over on there. There's a link in the description. And of course you also get access to lots of other fun projects to draw along with. Definitely have a look. And today I'm showing you the face. So the most important thing here is to use very sharp pencils and also work constantly with very light pressure. And then you can basically keep on layering until you get the right effect. And I really enjoyed working on this one. So let's go. I hope you'll enjoy it. Alright, so that's the eye in. Don't want to do too much to that. So now let's move on to this little bit of face that is very brown. So for that I'm going to start with the base layer of brown again, the 635. You can also see the mouth line here. So that's the mouth line. And then you can see a little bit of the bottom lip and then all these hairs coming out. We're going to be filling that in later. Let's focus first on this top lip area, and I'm going to put down a really light base layer because we're going to be adding on these really light hairs. Then you can see that the top line is all super light, so I'm not going to add any brown, leaving a little border open. Okay, so before we're adding the light hairs, I do want to add some more color on top of this, otherwise it looks a little flat. So let's also add some 640, again, very light pressure. And then I'm going to add some black just here on the mouth line area, connecting the nose to the skin. Very light pressure again. So right here, a very dark skin, so I'm just adding some black to darken that. Okay, so now I'm going to be patting this in, not too much pressure. This will give us lots of space to do the lighter hairs on top. But let's first do this top line. So this fur is quite tricky to do because you can see all these thick, light hairs. So that's the most important thing. But there is a dark underlayer underneath. So we do have to build this up from dark to light. Start with the dark underlayer and then make sure there's still enough space left on the texture to do all these thick, light hairs on top. So that's pretty tricky to do. But for this top line, everything is basically light. So what I'm going to do is do a little bit of a base layer with 642, just lightly, because I do see a nice pinkish glow. Underneath I feel like the hairs look more yellowish, so here I would not add this color. But right here I see more of a pinkish glow, so I add just a tiny bit of this along the top line of the head. And then I'm going to pick 681 and add all these super light hairs overlapping the background. So make sure the pencil is sharp. And use quick, confident motions. Whoops. The more you get on the top of the forehead, the longer the hair gets. So there you can lengthen your lines and make sure to have a little bit of variation in the lines. Okay, so let's leave it there. So we are definitely going to add more colors there. Maybe highlight some of the hairs with white. Maybe add some ivory tone to that as well. But for now, I'm going to leave it like this. Let's continue with the brown. Continue it upwards, but very lightly. 635. Look at the direction of the fur, it's going like this. Pretty straightforward. Around the eye and then towards the ear. I'm just drawing some lines to already indicate some fur texture. Alright, so take this brown all the way towards the edge of the face area. Light, even pressure. Then of course right here we have the ear, which is very dark on the inside, with those spikes overlapping. So I'm just mapping that out already, and then we have the edge of the ear, and then behind the ear there's dark again. So I can just use the brown all the way to mark all the important areas. Alright, so here and there the face is a little darker, so right here underneath the eye we have a little bit of a darker part, so I'm adding a little bit more brown there. So I can adjust the base layer based on how dark the fur there is. Okay, so then I can add some more color in. So I definitely see a yellow glow on the fur. I don't want to put in bright yellow. So let's go for the 615 color, and I'm just going to glaze that over very lightly. You see it mainly here and then on the ear area. So super lightly, almost no pressure. And then I also see it right here in the bottom. Gives a lot of depth to the fur already. But it's super important to stay extremely light with your pressure. And then I'm also going to glaze in some of the 642 color. Here next to the eye, here I see a bit of a pinkish glow. And then for the fur, the actual fur, we only have to draw in all the light lines. Okay, so a little bit of blending, not too much. Blend in the direction of the fur growth. And now there's a lot of texture left on the paper to do the fur. I do want to darken up here though. I see more black here. So now we can really darken up. A little bit of black around the eye. Follow the fur direction. So you can see those whisker lines. They're not so prominent, but I can put them in, add a bit of texture. Maybe a little bit more brown even, and then we can start doing the actual hairs. So the skin area right here on the face, on the nose area, it doesn't need much hair, it's more skin. So here I can make sure that the paper is covered up nicely. Okay, so let's get to the fun part. And right here on the face, I see mainly yellowish hairs. So I'm going to start off with the 105. Make it very sharp. And then here and there, just add some really nice hairs, lines. Use very light pressure. Okay, and then here underneath the eye, we see some yellowish toned hairs as well. I think for the top area, I'd rather switch to the 681 again. But for this bottom area, let's do the 105. I'm just going to start with adding these spiky hairs. They're quite straight. Make sure they are overlapping a little. Okay, so let's also add these light hairs on the chin area right away. So I'm also going to do that with the 105. Sharpen it again. Alright, so look at the direction of these hairs. They're going left. And you don't need to push hard. You can always go over again. As long as the pressure is light, you can do endless layering. We can add some color glazes to this. First, just make sure that the hairs are going in the right direction, that they're sticking out over the background. Okay, so I'm going to pat the edge of this light border in, blend it with the rest a little, like that, just tap it. Then we can do some little bit of color glazes. I'm going to do some 642 on top of the ivory color. get a little bit more color in. Maybe even add a tiny bit of bright yellow to get some nice sunlight idea in. Maybe go for something more like an orange, a cadmium yellow. Let's go for 215. Little bit of this orangey tone right here above the eye. Going to add some 680. For this bottom area. So this is just a lot of layering, a lot of glazing. Take it easy. And then we can take some 681 and pull out some even lighter hairs on the chin, and then we're going to move on to the next part. The face is very important. It's the most in focus of the drawing. Next to these leaves in the bottom, we have to make sure that this area is very sharp, and then the spikes on the body can be a little bit more faded again. But this face area needs to be very, very detailed. Alright, cool. So let's continue with the 681 and do the top of the face as well with these hairs. Whoops, my pencil broke. Okay, so going along the top side of the face, the hairs are curving around the eye a little bit like this. Alright, looking cool already. Some little whiskers sticking out, so let's add these right away. Light ones. Whoops. He's very cute. I hadn't drawn a hedgehog before because I wasn't really that interested in them, but right now, actually they are very interesting to draw. Okay, let's not add too much right now of the 681 because we can still do some layering. So these are not the lightest hairs yet. This is just the first layer of hair, and now we can do some glazing again to add some more color here and there. I can feel some more of this color needs to go in the 680. More glazing, so now I can glaze over the light hairs. And what I can do now is take the brown again and darken up in between these hairs. That will bring a lot more depth in the fur. Alright, so sharpen that brown, that's 635. I can go around the eye a little bit more. So these are the shadows in between the hairs that we can darken up. Not everywhere. Okay, and go in between these stripes, or in between these spikes. On the inside of the ear, and darken up there. So now we can use the gaps that we've created by adding these light hairs to darken those up. Alright, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. So in total this drawing took me 5 hours to make, a little bit more than that, and I really enjoyed working on this one. I hope you liked the results, and if you want to follow along with this one, definitely have a look over on Patreon. There's a link in the description, and then I want to thank you very much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of it, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos, and then I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye guys!